Hey fish friends, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. Zenzo with Tazawa Tanks. Yesterday I called my local fish store, the store that I frequent and the store that I sell a lot of fish to, and just said, hey, I've got some peacocks, how many do you want? I had spoken with them a couple of weeks earlier, and I knew that they wanted to get some fish this week, and so I called and they basically kind of placed their order. And so I am going to catch some fish. So the order is going to be for 30 African cichlids. I asked if they wanted peacocks or mbuna. They said it didn't really matter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through some of my tanks and pick out some of the largest juvenile grow outs that I have. And I am going to bring those to the store to sell. So I'll kind of bring you along with the journey and give you some tips. So in this tank I do have some of these dragon bloods that are looking really good. Some of the larger ones are about 2.5 inches or so, and you can see some pretty nice coloration on them. It's kind of hard to see this one that kind of has like a white blaze. There we go, almost. But I'm going to take a few of these. There's some OBs in this tank. I'm going to grab a couple of those. And down here, we probably won't be able to see just yet, but I've got some really good looking peacocks down here. We're not going to be able to see, so I'll wait till the water level drops a little bit lower. I've got some in this tank as well, and then I am going to grab some of them out of this tank. Alright, well now the water level is quite low, as you can see. I'm draining the other tub over there. But here we can see the color a lot better. As I mentioned in one of my earlier videos, talking about kind of how quickly some of these African cichlids grow and how it's dependent upon the tank size. These fish in this tub are the same age as some of the fish that I have in other tanks, but because this is larger, they grew a little faster. Now down here you can see some of the males there are quite brilliant, and it's kind of hard to see in this black tub, but obviously those are not the only males. Those are just the ones that kind of grew and established a dominance quickly. So they would be kind of considered the tub boss, I guess, or the tub bosses. So those will be the ones that I pull out first for sure. And obviously that will allow some of the other fish that are a little bit smaller, as I sell those in the coming weeks and next month, etc., for them to get a little bit bigger and color up as well. One thing that I think is important when selling fish is to really give the person or the people that you're selling the fish to the best fish that you have available. So, obviously I would love to keep some of these for myself, but knowing how to maintain a good relationship with the store, I want to make sure that they get the best ones. And I've got so many, I can pick some from another batch later on. A little bit of a pro tip here. One of the things that you might want to consider if you're putting fish in a bucket while you're waiting is to throw some air in there. I just threw some sponges just to keep the aeration going. All right, so I'm done. I caught my fish, and I've got 2 buckets here with the gamma seals. Each of the buckets has around 16 or 17 fish. So one tip that I have for you if you're going to be selling fish is always give a few extra for free. So if you've ever ordered fish online, you may have noticed, like if you ordered, let's say 10 fish from a breeder, you might get 11 or 12 or 13 in the mail. They do that because they want to ensure that you get at least 10 of the fish that you originally ordered, and kind of to avoid any losses. Should a fish or 2 die, you still get the 10 that you originally ordered. In my case, I'm only driving across town. They're only in these buckets for a very short amount of time, and I'm not worried about fish dying along the way. But I do like to give a couple extra, kind of as a good faith, just to kind of keep that relationship, very giving both ways. I also have a bag of mbuna. I caught 4 of my mbuna from one of my mbuna grow out tanks. Kind of hard to see them right now. I caught those at the very end. Obviously they're in a bag versus a bucket, but there's only 4 of them. They're only going to be in there for about 35 to 40 minutes or so. So not an issue at all with that. And these mbuna, these are above and beyond the order that was placed, but I'm going to go ahead and give them for free, again, kind of as a good faith. You'll notice here that the buckets read fish only. I've talked about this before. If you are going to use buckets or any kind of equipment, don't use it to wash your car or anything like that to clean parts in. You want something that's specifically for your fish, and in this case, that's what these buckets are for. So now we're going to get in the Tazawa Tanks rig. As you can see, I've got my Tazawa Tanks sticker there on the back window. For those of you that may have watched the Real Fish Talk, you may remember that I was using another vehicle for my service business, and Joel was joking around about getting a van, and I said I wanted a truck. Obviously, I can't use my mighty M3. This is my fun car that I like to drive on the weekends and do track days with. But anyway, I bought this truck. It's a great truck. Besides it having a covered bed, it has a trunk. So if you're not familiar with the Honda Ridgeline, there's a trunk down below that stores a lot of gear. But what's also really great about this truck, if you're doing service, is the back has obviously seats that fold up, and the other side folds up as well, but you can store a ton of gear in here. So I put buckets of water and suitcases. I can even fit a full Rubbermaid garbage can back here in the back. So anyway, I'm gonna put the fish back here. We're gonna drive to the store and sell some fish. Hey everyone, so I'm back, I'm all done. I didn't really get a chance to film me taking the fish and dropping the fish off just because it was kind of hectic. I had to kind of find some parking that was a little bit far away because there was a big show happening in the area, and had to walk down the hill with carrying buckets and things like that. Anyway, dropped the fish off. They were happy. I did give them a few extra fish as I shared. One of the things that I would recommend that you do if you want to sell some fish is to give some free samples. So even though I've sold fish before at this store, and I've done it a few times now, I like to just kind of stop by and give them a small bag of some fish for free, just to remind them, hey, I've got a bunch of peacocks that are growing out. Let me know when you need an order. So I actually did that about 3 weeks ago. I caught, I think 3 or 4 really nice colored up males, brought them to them, said, hey, I brought you a little gift. Didn't charge them, and just said, when you need some fish, let me know. They appreciated it, and of course, let me know that they wanted 30 of them. So anyway, I ended up buying a bunch of stuff. I bought a bunch of food. I bought some sponge filters that I needed, and I forgot something else that I got. But anyway, I ended up spending more money than I made. But hey, that's the fish biz, right? Sometimes you're just gonna get stuff because you need stuff. One of the things that did come up while I was there that I had suggested to them is maybe kind of doing like a meet and greet in their store. I do have a lot of people that are in the area that have mentioned wanting to, hang out and meet me, etc. So maybe doing a meet and greet at their store would be kind of fun, since I don't have a store for you to meet me at. So if that's of interest of yours, if you are in the Bay Area or Sacramento, wherever you are, and if you wanted to, come say hey to me and check out some cool fish, they do have some really cool stuff. So if you do come, bring a box, bring a cooler, whatever, to bring your fish home, because you're going to find some pretty cool fish there. But anyway, if that's an interest of yours, let me know. I did get the okay from the owner for me to go there and tour people around. So anyway, thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one.